Thank you for joining me here this morning. The time is currently 10:45 a.m. Central, 11:45 a.m. Eastern, and you have a live look at a severe thunderstorm moving through Pine Mountain, Georgia, capable of producing quarter-sized hail and damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. If you're in Pine Mountain or Hamilton, Georgia, make sure that you are moving indoors immediately, as this is a dangerous storm, again, capable of producing large hail and damaging winds. This is currently crossing over Interstate 185 here. Right now, the storm is rotating just a little bit near Valley. It is currently very broad and not enough to produce a tornado, but we will have to watch for some potential intensification there, as this environment is somewhat favorable for tornadic production, okay? We have a couple of slight risks of severe weather today. One of them is a very large risk along the East Coast that goes all the way from New York back into Alabama. That's a 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather for everybody in that yellow zone there. Again, that's a slight risk. And then we also have a 2 out of 5 risk of severe weather for parts of Central and North Texas here, which again is a 2 out of 5 slight risk of severe weather for parts of the DFW Metroplex, Waco, Killeen, all the way back down close to Round Rock and Burnett. Okay, so this is going to be a pretty intense outbreak today. I do have some major updates on yesterday's insane tornado outbreak. At least 21 unfortunately did pass away, which makes this by far the deadliest tornado outbreak of the past few years or so. Okay, I'm not sure the exact statistics at the moment, but it was extremely deadly last night. The tornado that we were talking about that ripped through western Kentucky, it was a Mayfield, Kentucky-like event. It was a violent tornado that ripped through, a good portion of western Kentucky. It tracked for over an hour. It was extremely strong. Again, several tornado emergencies were issued for it. It was just the strongest tornado we have ever seen in like a long time, okay? So we gotta hope that everybody else is okay there, and hopefully, we got some rescue relief operations going on in that area right now, because that was an extremely large tornado. My prediction is that it was an EF4. I think it was just a little bit less than Mayfield level. Mayfield was a high-end EF4 tornado. I think this is going to range kind of in the low to mid EF4 range. Okay, so again, very strong tornado that we were talking about yesterday. Again, I read somewhere that I think 21 were killed. I don't know how accurate that is, but geez, I mean, it's insane what we've been seeing here. And again, we are not going to see anything like that today, but we are still talking about that threat for some tornadic potential here along the East Coast. Again, stretching all the way from New York back into Alabama. The highest tornado threat that we have today, all right, we are at a 2 out of 5 risk for tornadoes. That's a 5% for everywhere in between Scranton, Pennsylvania, all the way back down to Jacksonville, North Carolina. You have a 5% chance to see a tornado within 25 miles of any given point, okay? I do think that we are going to see a couple of tornadoes today. If I had to, predict exactly where the highest tornado threat would be, I'd say somewhere around, like, portions of northern North Carolina, southern Virginia, the Richmond area, Rocky Mount. I'd say that's probably our greatest potential for a tornado, because some of these cells that are going to pop up in that area, they do look rather nasty. And again, we do have a 2% tornado threat out here in Texas. Again, this is our separate slight risk of severe weather. The 2% risk goes all the way from San Antonio back into DFW, back into the Texas Panhandle there, okay? So obviously, very big day here for severe weather. Again, nothing like what we saw yesterday, not even close, but yesterday was, a once per year type event, which it feels like I've been saying that every day for the past month, but I mean, it's true. We have had so many insane outbreaks. We've had like 3 or 4 EF4 tornadoes within the past month, whenever normally we get that many in an entire year. So very insane stuff here. You live in Colorado. Colorado is good today, but I will say I believe that Colorado actually has a marginal risk. Yeah, Colorado has a marginal risk of severe weather on Wednesday for parts of northeastern Colorado, areas like Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, Fort Morgan, Fort Collins, Sterling. That whole area, you have a marginal risk on Wednesday there, but today and tomorrow, Colorado is all good. And I really don't think Wednesday is going to be anything too insane for the Colorado area anyway. So, anyway, again, this storm is rotating a little bit near Valley along the Alabama-Georgia border here. So, we're going to continue to watch this as this still has a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. Again, right now we are watching storms all up and down the East Coast. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of Georgia here. This is a relatively low-end severe thunderstorm watch, but it is a severe thunderstorm watch nonetheless. The primary threats include scattered damaging winds to 70 miles per hour possible, isolated large hail events to 1 inch in diameter possible, and a tornado or two possible. So it's kind of an all hazards in play situation, but luckily all the hazards with it are kind of low-end threats. So, again, we'll continue to watch this here over the next several hours as this event unfolds. There are going to be several points today, guys, where I'm not going to be able to go live, which is why I went live this morning. Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to go live. I'm definitely not going to be able to go live from about 1 to 4 p.m. at least, maybe even longer after 4 p.m. It's going to depend on how things turn out, because I'm going to have some plans today, but I'm going to try to be live for all the big events today. All right, if we have any tornado warnings, I'm going to make sure that I get some live coverage out for you guys, or at least I'll post something on my community tab if I can't go live at that time. Hello, Airborne Animations. But yeah. So again, if you're just now tuning in, we have a live look at a severe thunderstorm moving through Valley and Pine Mountain along the Alabama-Georgia state line. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So if you're in this area, make sure that you are moving indoors immediately. If you see wind damage, hail, or flooding, wait until the storm has passed and then call the National Weather Service toll-free at 1-866-763-4466 or tweet us your report at NWS Atlanta. We do actually have a storm up here in North Carolina. That is on the stronger side of things. It's rolling through Kinston, producing some damaging winds up to 40 miles per hour. And it has the intensification possible tag on it, okay? So we may see this get a severe thunderstorm warning if it does get strong enough here, but I personally don't think that's going to happen. I will say it is becoming quite a bit more organized as it continues to head east-northeast here. It's going to continue to ride Highway 70 and eventually go all the way up towards areas like Vanceboro, potentially Chocowinity, and Washington in eastern North Carolina. So let's go back down here to our cluster of storms in Georgia. Again, this storm does kind of have some inflow. It is rotating a little bit, but it's not enough to produce a tornado at the moment. We may see them throw the tornado possible tag on this storm. The storms in Huntsville crashed into each other. It was crazy. I was up to like 3 a.m. Yikes. Yeah, I got some pretty crazy storms myself yesterday. I may be posting some of that footage here, probably today or tomorrow, hopefully. There's a little bit of stuff I need to edit. It's a decently long video. It's like 10 minutes, so. Or it's going to be 10 minutes, I should say. We do also have a marginal risk of severe weather up here for parts of the Midwest today. I'm not expecting anything crazy with this. At best, maybe a couple of strong thunderstorms. I definitely don't think we're going to see anything severe. If we take a look at the NAM, we can see that it's really just not showing anything impressive at all for the Midwest today. Again, maybe some isolated strong storms possible, but I'm not expecting too much overall. If we were to get an isolated severe thunderstorm, which I'm not expecting, I would guess it'd be somewhere here in parts of central and eastern Iowa sometime this afternoon around 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 p.m. I will say, though, again, these storms do look relatively strong. I just don't think we're going to get anything to severe limits. But, again, this is for parts of the Midwest here, areas like northwest Illinois, southwest Wisconsin, south central Minnesota, eastern Iowa, and northeastern Missouri. We could see some isolated strong storms today. So we'll watch that. Again, I'm not expecting too much in the way of severe weather, though. But again, if we were to get a severe storm, I would expect it to be somewhere in eastern Iowa in the afternoon hours. But these storms along the East Coast, I mean, they do look incredibly intense here at some spots. Not incredibly intense, but pretty intense overall. And we actually are going to be here live again tomorrow because we have a massive line of storms that's going to roll through parts of Texas and Louisiana, New Mexico, Arkansas, Oklahoma. We're going to see a big severe weather outbreak again tomorrow, most likely. We're talking about, again, a slight risk of severe weather for parts of New Mexico and Texas. I would not rule out that slight risk getting extended further east, okay? I think it'll get extended into more portions of eastern Texas, areas like DFW, Tyler, potentially. And then if an enhanced risk were to get issued, I'd say it would be somewhere in the heart of Texas, like around Waco, Brownwood, and Killeen. But I don't think we're going to get an enhanced risk tomorrow. I think they'll stick with the slight risk. And then going into Wednesday's event, again, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather for portions of the plains here, and then also a marginal risk across parts of Texas and New Mexico. I'm not expecting anything crazy. Again, maybe at best a few strong to severe storms across parts of the Dakotas and Nebraska. I will say some of these storms could be producing some relatively heavy rainfall, and I wouldn't rule out an isolated severe storm or 2 or 3. So, anyway. If the storm season starts calming down, I think it will. I think it's going to calm down very quickly. I mean, today's already a big step down from what we've been seeing for pretty much every day for the past month, where we only have a slight risk. I will say we do have over 70 million people included in at least a slight risk of severe weather today. And we have over 100 million people in at least a marginal risk. So it's a very large area we're talking about today, a very populated area. We got cities like Atlanta, Charlotte, New York, Richmond, Washington, Dallas, Des Moines, Columbia. All you guys are under that threat for severe weather today. The fact that you feel a responsibility to let people know you might... Well, yeah, I know. I like to go live though. If I don't go live, it's kind of a surprise at this point. So I do appreciate it, but usually it is. I don't know if it's definitely not my job, but it's my obligation here, I would say, to provide this live coverage for everybody, and I enjoy doing it. It's not like I hate doing this every day, and I'm like, ugh, I have to go live again. So our storm is continuing to rotate a little bit more here over Highway 103 near New Hope, Georgia. Again, I think this will go with the tornado possible tag pretty soon here. The National Weather Service will. This is going to be crossing over Interstate 185 very soon, somewhere to the west of Hamilton, along like the areas like Clines Crossroads, Whitesville. Anyway. Again, we're going to continue to watch the storm here, as it is a relatively intense one at the minute. Again, if we do have some sort of rotation right now, it'd be located just to the north of New Hope along Highway 103, probably crossed it now, getting close to the Pine Lake Road area. The Kentucky tornado was crazy, though I'm a bit concerned about it. They'll be able to accurately rate it because it looks like it didn't hit many structures, which is a good thing, yeah. But, I mean, it was so long tracking, I'm sure at some point it'll show off its full intensity. I think it was really the most intense kind of towards the beginning of its lifetime, whenever it was kind of out in far western Kentucky here, whenever it was near areas like Crowtown and Crider, whenever that first tornado emergency got issued. Again, I mean, I'm just not excited to hear the damage out of that. Again, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but I read somewhere that 21 deaths have been confirmed from tornadoes over the past few days. By the way, we do have a new mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. This is Mesoscale Discussion 1013. One or more watches will likely be needed in the next 1 to 2 hours. Damage out of that again. I don't know if this is... I always forget to turn my audio off. One or more watches will likely be needed in the next 1 to 2 hours. Damaging gusts and a couple of tornadoes possible through the afternoon. That is for portions of the Northeast. There's an 80% chance of either a tornado or more likely severe thunderstorm watch getting issued. I wouldn't rule out a tornado watch, but I think they're probably going to keep it as a severe thunderstorm watch, at least at the beginning of the event. It's going to depend kind of how things play out here. So I always forget to turn off my audio before I start screen mirroring. Hello, Andy. So again, this storm is actually pretty interesting. It's trying to do something, which I was not expecting any of these storms to do this much in the early morning hours. what is this, the 12th, 11th or 12th tornado emergency this year? I don't know. I haven't been tracking. Is that actually how many we've had? That is ridiculous. Normally we get like 5 a year or so. And we're in May and we've already had 11 or 12. Cannot believe it. This is the most active tornado season we've had since 2011, in my opinion. So again, there's your rotation off to the west of Interstate 185. Very defined area of inflow to go along with that, so we know that it's not just radar contamination. This is a pretty impressive storm here. Again, they may throw the tornado possible tag on this. We'll have to wait and see. I will say it was more impressive last scan and 2 scans ago even than it is now, but it's still some relatively intense rotation there. So we'll continue to watch it as that continues in parts of western Georgia. I would like to quickly talk about the power outage map across the United States, right? So currently, we have about 165,000 customers in Kentucky alone without power. We've got about 57,000 customers in Missouri without power. We've got about 6,000 to 7,000 customers in Kansas without power, 61,000 customers in Arkansas without power, 52,000 customers in Alabama without power, 25,000 customers in Georgia without power, 64,000 customers in West Virginia without power, and 35,000 customers in Virginia without power, and then 10,000 customers in Illinois without power, and 13,000 customers in Indiana without power. So, again, Kentucky's been hit incredibly hard. 166,000 customers are currently sitting there without power from yesterday's event. And you can see, obviously, the areas that got hit the hardest were the areas that got hit by the tornado. But pretty much the entire state is dealing with outages across a good chunk of the state. We've got Muhlenberg County sitting at about 89% of its customers without power. That is just insane. Almost the entire county is without power right now. In Muhlenberg County. And the tornado did rip through the northern portion of that county, I do believe. So that's part of it. And then obviously Caldwell County and Hopkins County where the tornado started out. We got about half the counties without power there. So obviously very intense storms yesterday. Again, pretty much the entirety of Kentucky has at least some of their customers in every single county without power. There's an EF4 in the Czech Republic in 2022. Was there really? Yes, 2011 was crazy. Yeah, 2021 was bad, but, I mean, if you go back and really think about 2021's tornado season, the only thing people remember about 2021 was the Mayfield tornado. I cannot think of a single other, well, that's not true, Andover, Kansas. But other than those 2 tornadoes, I cannot think of a single one that happened. Actually, I think Andover was 2022 anyway. Oh, Czech Republic was 2021. Okay, let's see the tornadoes of 2021 here. I really can't think of any except for Mayfield. Okay, so apparently there were some significant ones. There was one near Peachtree City, Georgia. There was also an EF4 that rolled through parts of Tennessee. We had 3 EF4s in 2021, but guys, we've already had 3 EF4s so far in 2024 alone, and we may have 4 by the time the most recent Kentucky tornado gets rated. We haven't, there's no, definitive. The thing about the difference between the Mayfield tornado and this tornado was this one didn't go right through a populated town like Mayfield did. So we don't know what to call it. Everybody's just calling it the Western Kentucky tornado. I've been calling it the Caldwell County tornado / the Kreider tornado. I don't know. What do we call it? What's the official verdict on that? Because I went through so many towns, and now we have a tornado warning for Hamilton, Georgia. This is now a tornado warning for Hamilton, Hopewell, Pine Mountain, and Klein's Crossroads. This is the first of the day. If you're in this area, you need to seek shelter immediately. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado here. So again, we are now on a tornado warning. So I'm going to go ahead and update the stream title here. Yeah, I'm assuming it'll be EF4 as well. Do I think there'll be an EF5 in 2024? No. I'm sorry I get the way I am about severe weather, but in Nebraska it just started. Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand totally. Because the severe weather's just been crazy recently. For the next few days, though, I'm not seeing anything concerning for Nebraska. So again, we now have a tornado warning for downtown Hamilton, Georgia. Hamilton is a small little town out here in far southwestern Georgia, or really west central Georgia. This is going to be crossing over Interstate 185 near Klein's Crossroads to the north of Klein's Crossroads, most likely here, if we do have a tornado on the ground. Yeah, the population for Hamilton, Georgia is about 1,800. So it's not a super big town out here. It's pretty small overall. But the total population of this warning polygon is a few thousand here. It's about 6,000, 5,800. It includes Pine Mountain Valley and Hamilton, Georgia. While we're here, we may as well take a look at the NATOcast outlook for today. NATOcast has a pretty interesting outlook for this. I'll say that much. They're kind of painting a somewhat similar picture to the SPC, but if you look up here in southeastern Minnesota, they have a bullseye 5% tornado risk, which the SPC has no risk at all up there. So we'll see which verifies to be true, the NATOcast or the SPC. Out of all the places, southeast Minnesota is where they have that in the Midwest. I think the SPC is going to win this round, but we'll see. Sometimes NATOcast surprises me, and then they do have a very small 10% risk in a very small sliver of northeastern North Carolina there. We got a 5% risk in parts of west central Georgia, kind of where our storms are now. So, again, that one did just get tornado warned, so maybe that'll verify. We'll see. We got a bunch of 5% risks scattered up and down across the East Coast. Obviously, the SPCs is just one big 5% risk, but NATOcast gets a little bit more in-depth and in-detailed here. I will say, interestingly, they only have the Texas event at a 1% risk with a small 2% risk down in Mexico, but the SBC has it at 2%, Texas has it at a 1% on NATOcast, so we'll see again which one verifies there. Very interesting stuff indeed. And then for tomorrow's NATOcast outlook, because they already have the day 2 outlook out, we can see that we do have a large 3% risk because, yes, NATOcast does 3% risks for parts of Texas and New Mexico. We got a big 2% risk outside of that. That goes all the way back up into Colorado. And then we got another 2% risk kind of around the DFW area. And then even a 1% risk up around Lake Michigan. So we'll see if that verifies. Obviously, it's just a 1%, but today and the rest of the week should be quieter than the weekend. Yeah, for sure. Also, happy Memorial Day, everybody. Of course, it's not going to be a very happy Memorial Day for everybody along the East Coast because they're probably going to get interrupted by some severe weather here, unfortunately. But So, you're on the East Coast and it's been a cloudy day so far. Gotcha. Again, if you're just now joining us, we do have a tornado warning in effect for downtown Hamilton, Georgia. If you're in this area, you need to be seeking shelter immediately. The tornadic circulation has just crossed over Interstate 185. It's going to parallel Highway 116, go to the south of Beach Springs, head very close to downtown Hamilton. Once again, it's going to go just to the north of town, most likely. But if you're in downtown Hamilton, again, you need to stay in your tornado safe spot. Actually, it could go a little bit closer to Hamilton than I was thinking. So, I'm going to watch this very closely here as it continues to head eastward. So our severe thunderstorm warning here expires in about 4 minutes, so we'll see if they reissue this or not. It still looks like a pretty intense storm to me. It doesn't look any less intense than whenever they issued the warning, so I imagine they'll probably keep it. And again, this tornado warning is going to remain in effect for the next 19 minutes. You want to see how sunny my hometown, Washington Courthouse, Ohio is? Well, I don't have like a camera there, but Ohio's probably pretty nice out today. Drew, I do not. Jeez Louise. It's already 94 degrees in Killeen, Texas. At 11 a.m., it's 94 degrees. And those dew points are just skyrocketing. They're at like 75. So it feels like it's going to be insane out here. Line of storms coming through on either Wednesday or Thursday? I don't think so. Maybe Thursday we get something. I'll have to look at the RGEM. Let me look. Dang it, they don't have it on here. Let me look at the RGEM. I'm really not expecting too much for Lincoln. I mean, yeah, you may get a little bit of activity on Thursday. It actually may be a little bit intense. You might get like a marginal or a slight risk of severe weather possibly, but at most it's going to be some damaging winds and large hail. I'm not expecting any real tornado threat with that line of storms there. Maybe an embedded tornado threat, but I don't know if that's going to become organized enough to do so, so we'll watch it. Again, I will be live here on Thursday, guaranteed. I mean, every day this week is guaranteed at this point. Even though the severe weather's calmed down, we're still having to go live every day because it's still relatively intense. You know, we're still getting tornado warnings. We're still getting, severe thunderstorm watches. So it's like, why not go live, And now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. They are going to carry that warning on. That still includes Pine Mountain, but now areas like Shiloh and Waverly Hall, as well as Woodland. You need to be moving indoors immediately. This is for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds, and this storm is also tornadic, so we'll see if they carry on that tornado warning, but you got to be careful with this one. Very dangerous storm out here. I personally don't think they're going to carry on the tornado warning, but I could be wrong. They might do so. We're just going to have to wait and see here. I am 14. We do have a special weather statement here for parts of Pennsylvania that I'm watching. It's for a strong line of storms producing damaging winds up to 50 miles per hour and hail up to pea size. It's moving through Bloomsburg, and we got another one kind of behind it here near Williamsport. And these are the storms that later on are going to warrant either a severe thunderstorm or tornado watch. It depends on the severity of the situation. You got some storms heading towards you. Hello, Tornado at Gaming. Yeah, out there in Long Island, I believe Western Long Island will be included in that new watch. Either that, or it's going to be like to the county of the to the west of you. But yeah, these storms are definitely going to pack a punch in your area. So let me know what you see. For sure. So again, we're mostly focused on our tornado warning right now for downtown Hamilton, Georgia. They have condensed it. At 12:16 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Hamilton, moving east at 25 miles per hour. You gotta seek shelter if you're in this warning, guys. It's starting to develop a pretty nasty hook echo there, so we'll see what that kind of does. Yeah, I saw the cell moving up there from New Jersey. I mean, it looks intense, so make sure you're staying safe out there. Just let me know what you see. We'll kind of track this out, talk about some of the areas that are in the path of this storm. So Hamilton, this is quite literally on top of you. Pine Mountain Valley, you got about 9 minutes. Shiloh's got about 26 minutes. Flint Hills got about 34 minutes. Hawkins Crossroads has 37 minutes. Tax Crossroads has 39 minutes. Cunningham Crossroads has 44 minutes. Woodland has 44 minutes. Bellevue has 44 minutes. Beale has 45 minutes. Talbotton has 49 minutes. Po-Biddy Crossroads has 57 minutes. Just because I didn't mention your town name doesn't mean you're not in the track of this. It just means there are bigger towns around you that got mentioned before your name. So, anyway. No, it is not confirmed yet. So again, this area of rotation right now off to the west of downtown Hamilton. It's going to be crossing over Highway 27 relatively soon. It's going to be crossing over Hamilton Pleasant Grove Road if it hasn't already, but actually it looks like it probably has now at this point. Rotation is going to be located somewhere very close to Hamilton right now. Pretty much on top of Hamilton. Yeah, it still is radar indicated, but it does have a hook echo developing on it, so we'll see if this tries to produce a tornado over the next several minutes. Personally, the rotation doesn't look like anything crazy to me, though, at this point. Looked more impressive earlier, but now it's a little messy and unorganized. It's pretty weak, so we may see them drop this tornado warning entirely, actually. Doing a great job. Bright future ahead of you. You're right up there with Ryan Hall and Max Velocity. Thank you. I don't think I am, but thank you. The Storm Prediction Center did just issue their new, not their severe thunderstorm outlook, but their general thunderstorm outlook. They've just updated it. There is now, if you're in this red zone, all right, you have a 70% chance of thunderstorms today. That includes parts of the Northeast and New England here, southern New England. Whoops, did not mean to do that. So again, you have a 70% chance of some storms there today, sub-severe or severe, whatever, just 70% chance of storms in general. So, look out for that. You're in the brown. That's the 10% risk. $40% for you. Nice. I'm only saying nice because he likes storms. I don't know, though. I don't know if these storms are going to be able to... It's going to be close for your area. It's just going to depend if they continue to convect. And we do now have a severe thunderstorm warning for... That's disappeared, and now it's going to reappear. There we go. That is for Jones and Craven counties, North Carolina. So if you're in Trent Woods or New Bern, make sure that you are moving indoors immediately. This is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging wind gusts. So let's go back down to our tornado warning storm in Harris County, down in west central Georgia. Keep positive. I'm sure they didn't start off at your age. Yeah, I don't think they did, probably because this kind of weather technology didn't exist whenever they were my age. But thank you, though. So again, you're rotating supercell. I mean, it is right on top of downtown Hamilton right now. And again, it's heading towards Pine Mountain Valley. We'll see if they continue this tornado warning. But again, I personally don't think they will. It's a little bit messier, unorganized rotation, in my opinion, at this point. Again, we're waiting to see when they're going to issue that new severe thunderstorm / tornado watch for parts of the Northeast here. It's going to be sometime between now and 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. But obviously that area is in Eastern time, so just mention it there. But anyway, let's continue to cover our tornado warning storm here. Again, this is an early morning tornado warning here. Again, guys, unfortunately, I will not be able to go live this afternoon from about 1 to 4 p.m., maybe even closer to 1 to 6 p.m. I won't be able to go live. I do have some plans today, but if there's like a new tornado warning or something and I can't go live, I will at least make a community post about it. Just make sure everybody's staying safe out here. But again, that's why I'm going live this morning, is so that I can get some coverage out to you guys, kind of talk about what's going to happen today, because I'm not going to be able to be here whenever it's all going down. What's the red mean of velocity and the green mean of velocity? That's actually a really good question. The reds are winds going away from the radar, and the greens are winds going towards the radar, which is why whenever they meet, we can tell that there's some rotation. And the gray is just a sign of weaker velocity, some weaker winds, or maybe a little bit of weak rotation. Hello, Storm Chaser 575. And we have no confirmed tornado here yet, and I don't think we will get one, but continue to stay in your safe place for a precautionary measure here, as a tornado warning is still in effect for downtown Hamilton and Pine Mountain Valley in west central Georgia. And this is for portions of Harris County, northeastern Harris County here. Really more north central Harris County. Check up on our severe thunderstorm warning in North Carolina here. We're starting to get a little bit more active, or we're kind of watching multiple spots at once. At the beginning of the stream, we were just watching a severe thunderstorm roll through Georgia. I really thought it was just going to be a quick update stream on what's going on, but it's kind of turned into this 40-minute tornado warning coverage stream here for parts of the southeast, and even longer if we need to. So again, this storm is continuing to rotate here now as it heads for areas like Pine Mountain Valley and Hamilton. Again, remain in your tornado safe spot if you are out here. This warning expires in 4 minutes, so we'll see if they reissue it or not. I don't think they will, but they might. I could be wrong. The rotation just, again, it looks way more messy and unorganized to me than whenever they first issued the warning. So, our storm up here in North Carolina, again, is continuing to produce a damaging wind and large hail threat. It's really kind of a line of storms, actually, and this is just the most intense part here, heading towards New Bern, and Trent Woods. New Bern's a pretty populated city out here in eastern North Carolina. I know that much. The downtown area of New Bern, let's kind of check New Bern's population here. I believe it's in the tens of thousands. 31,000 people live in New Bern, North Carolina, and they're currently under that severe thunderstorm warning there. So hopefully all those people make sure they know that what's coming. They're getting indoors there. Feel free to send them the stream if you know anybody that lives out there in New Bern. Or really anybody that lives on the East Coast today. If you know anybody, say, hey, this guy's live right now covering severe weather along the East Coast. He's going to be live here whenever necessary. So, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I would just appreciate it. It helps spread the message, and it helps grow this channel so that I can continue to do things like this, because live streams right now are actually a really good way to grow my channel. So that's one of the reasons that I love doing them. Not only that, though, I just love interacting with viewers in chat. And, you know, severe weather, obviously, I love covering. That's what my entire channel is based around, pretty much. So, again, one of the ways that I can continue to do these streams is by you guys clicking that like and subscribe button, sharing this, getting the message out. But anyway, I don't say that very often, so I don't feel like I'm being too annoying right now by saying it. But yeah, normally I don't say stuff like that just because I just enjoy doing these streams, but it is very helpful whenever people like you make a difference like that. Alrighty, so we've been live for about 45 minutes. Yep, the tornado warning is going to expire soon. It's going to expire in about 1 minute here. We'll see if they reissue it, but I don't think they will. If they do not reissue it, we're going to go ahead and end off our live coverage here. So I don't think they're going to reissue it, so I'm going to kind of start doing our outro now. We'll wait to see if they get reissued or not, but if this is the end, I do want to thank you all for tuning into this live stream. Again, we will be live later today, covering more severe weather across the United States if necessary, and I'm expecting it will be necessary, as again, I think a couple of tornadoes are likely here today along the east coast of the United States, and maybe an isolated tornado threat down in Texas. So we'll continue to cover this severe weather here over the next several hours today, and again, thank you all for tuning in. Again, thank you all for liking and subscribing. I do appreciate it very much. Helps me to continue doing this. Again, this has been live severe weather coverage on May 27th, 2024, and that tornado warning has officially expired, and they have not reissued it. So, thank you all for watching this live stream. I really do appreciate it.